Hello and welcome back to our weekly recap. This is our final weekly recap, and I'm your host, Ian, coach of the Phoenix Ferrets and the league owner. Joined with me today is my co-host, Justin, coach of the Los Angeles Charge Bugs. And Justin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well, Ian, and I imagine you yourself are feeling pretty good yourself.
We are actually
Yeah.
you know after our finals appearance here, and let's hop right into it with that
Mm.
little transition there, Justin. Uh, how the match versus myself and Alex shook out, and yeah, it ended up with a second championship ring for your Phoenix Ferrets, and
Yeah.
yeah, Justin, happened again. We've done it twice
Yes.
now.
Yes. Etching your name into the top pantheon of the league. You and David, the only champions, remains that way. Both of you
Absolutely.
having two championships to you guys' names.
Yep, we're just passing it back and forth, you get one
Exactly.
next
Yeah.
season, I'll take it again the week season after. So,
And yeah, I think you had such a it's a great cap to just such a dominating season. It was you were the favorite coming into the season, the favorite coming into the playoffs, and then of course, uh, even
the
though
winner of the
the
playoffs.
what did I say?
Oh, the winner of the playoffs too. So,
Yes, and even though for the finals, technically, I think Alex received more votes. The betting market was still favoring you,
yeah,
um, and you came out here. You won in dominating fashion. Um, and uh, just the whole playoff run, it's probably the most impressive one we've seen from that standpoint because you only lost four Pokemon the entire playoff run. Uh, had a plus 14 point differential in this run, and
3-0 plus 14 in the playoffs this season was
yeah,
pretty good. Pretty good.
that's 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 just about as good as you can do. And Alex, his I guess the clock has struck midnight on his Cinderella run. Um, Great season once again from him, but yeah, I think this game was pretty lopsided, honestly. But I still think this finals will be remembered uh, in the history books because of the storylines from both teams coming into it.
Absolutely. I think this was one of the, I think Alex's story will, even losing in this finals, I think Alex's
Yeah,
story is one of the best that we've seen throughout all four seasons of this league. So, this is a season to remember for sure, especially in the playoffs. Um, Even if it, may not have ended how everybody, had hoped. It certainly ended how I hoped, but um, you know, there's a, it was a great season, great playoff run from Alex, and an even better one from myself. If I do say so myself.
yeah. I mean, you come out here victorious. In the game itself, there's a couple of head scratchers. Roster wise, that's going to be the big story coming out of this, where uh, Alex not bringing Mega Diancie. Some would say in this matchup it makes sense. Also, not bringing Quavel, such a offensive force. It's kind of hard to wrap your brain why he wouldn't bring him. Instead, gets Entei off the bench and
Miss
dusts
Magius.
off dusts off Miss Magus first time all season. I guess now he thought now's the time in the finals to uh, bring him out, and I guess Coach Alex was maybe hoping for a better production from them, but they just didn't really get it done.
No, I don't blame him for trying to shake things up, mix it up in the finals. Um,
Mm.
it's not exactly an easy matchup for him by any means, just by how the numbers shake out. So he had to really, you know, come with something new, I think, and I don't fault him for trying, but I don't know if it's how I would have gone about it. So, you know.
And what are your thoughts about the big storyline, the captain of this team, Kilowattrell, coming in here, not really doing much this game, but do you have any thoughts on that?
Um, I wouldn't look too deep into it. Um, not to be like, crushing or anything, but like, not much of his team did anything. So, when you're he did actually a solid chunk of the total production. And even while playing the game, throughout the game, I was consistently pressured by the kilowatt roll. There's turns where I have my Tornadus out, and he swaps right into kilowatt roll, and I can't remove the hazards on the field without potentially procking competitive and just losing. So I mean, it did its job. Even if its production might have been a little low, it did its job. It worked exactly how it's supposed to, and it numbers might have been low, but that's how it is.
Gotcha.
So
So you're not buying the fraud allegations that people on Twitter have been throwing out?
no, I think
Yeah.
fraud allegations are false. You know, uh, but hey, we got plenty more seasons to come where we
Hmm.
can talk about fraud kilowatt roll. So
Wow.
we'll see about next season.
Definitely. Um, but yeah, I mean, that great game. Uh, and I guess right now we can go ahead. We did a great interview with Coach Alex about this game and about the season. So we can cut to that right now.
Hmm.
All right, and please welcome for this interview spot. I have the coach of the Colorado Avalugg Finals runner-up for season 4, Coach Alex. Thank you very much for coming today.
Course, of course.
How you feeling right now?
You know, pretty good. People preyed on my downfall this season. Everyone bet
Really?
against me except for David because I think he felt bad from last season. But
Mm,
stats, they lie sometimes, man. And
yeah,
the stats last season said I lost every game, -30 differential.
stats did say that.
And then this season, I had to prove him wrong, man. I had to prove him wrong.
Well, yeah, that is the big talking point throughout this entire season for you. Coming off, like you just said, a 0-8 season.
Mhm.
What was your game plan going into this season? From like the draft and then also like your team building for each week and stuff. What was the mindset going in?
Well, round one, I needed to pick, a big Pokemon.
Hmm.
So that's my Mega Deancey round one. You got to get the big guy out there. And then round two, I was kind of like, I was fighting between what to pick, but I ended up just picking Wug Trio because,
Hmm.
you can never go wrong with him.
Hmm.
And then thinking about what I need to do different is mainly I use my head too much. So I was going into the fight thinking I was going to lose. It's like, oh, I lost every game last season. Let's just have fun, see what happens. And then I ended up winning. And I was like, wait, let me just do that all over again. And then I did that. And then I was in the finals, man. I made it. I was there.
Absolutely. Got a great season. And then speaking of the finals, so you go through Coach Caden, you go through Coach Kyler, and then you make it and your finals is against Coach Ian. Some would argue that those are three of the best coaches, or at least definitely two of the best coaches. One of them is probably bottom 2 or 3 coaches in the league. Uh, and what is your thought going into a game against such a titan? Obviously you're coming in as the underdog, but you have so much momentum going in. What was the team building process like going into that week?
Well, the team building process was actually very difficult because I found myself always needing more Pokemon than 6 Pokemon on my team.
Mm,
I'd build a team and I'd be like, man, I need more. Like, I cannot beat this final boss of a person with only 6 Pokemon. But I did what I thought was best and ended up, obviously not working out as I wanted it to. But
mm.
I had fun. I went in. I killed one Pokemon. I figured out he could bleed. So next season we'll make him bleed even more, and then just kill him.
Absolutely. Was there a Pokemon this season that you picked up that you hadn't had in previous seasons that surprised you that you actually ended up really liking?
There was two actually.
Mm,
I really, really liked Hydreigon and Necrozma because
mm,
this season I actually, in my past seasons, I'm kind of a new player, but not really. Like I don't know Pokemon like
mhm,
everyone, like Ian. I don't know Pokemon. I haven't been playing it since I was like 4 years old or however long he's been doing it.
mhm.
But I've learned that defensive Pokemon are actually really, really good. Like in my first season, I would just do, let's make them super fast and hit like a fucking tank and then like just do a lot of damage. But this season, I really focused on, making them live as long as possible. And if they do damage, they do damage. So, yeah, those two were probably the biggest ones that I was surprised about.
Awesome. Well, such a big difference between last season and this season. So, Coach Alex, I just have to ask you, when looking forward into next season, uh, what are your thoughts as far as like uh, how you think you're going to do, and what is going to be your mindset going into it?
Well, I do have to say the first season I ever played was in Paldea Dex, so
Mm,
I have that on some people, I guess. And you know, there's a lot less Pokemon. You're gonna have to pick your spinners probably round 2, 3, or you're just not gonna have one at all because there's not that many. And it's just based on who gets like top 3 picks, basically, and then that'll probably be the people in the finals. Actually,
bold
is
prediction.
it is what I'm thinking.
Okay. And then last question for you, burning question that
Okay.
everyone has in mind. Is Kilowattrel going to be on the team next season?
If I get the first seed spot or anywhere up there, Kilowattrel will be my first draft Pokemon of next
Really?
season. Yes.
Wow.
Terra
That's high
Kilowattrel
praise.
round 1.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. I'm going to hold you to that if you get a high
Yep.
draft pick. All right.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Well, great season, Coach Alex. Congratulations to you and your team.
Mhm.
Runner up is nothing to sneeze at. You did a fantastic job, and can't wait to see what you do next season.
Yep.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm gonna send it back to me and Ian for the rest of the recap. Thank you again to Coach Alex for letting us have that interview. It's always tough to talk about a loss like that, but very insightful. We're very grateful for him for doing that. And now we're gonna transition. I'm gonna ask you, Coach Ian, a couple questions here. Um, I think the first thing I wanted to bring up here was you showed throughout the season, throughout playoffs, just how many different sets you can bring to each game. I just wanted to know, how do you approach team building for a week, and want to bring something that's surprising and unexpected, but balance that with not overcooking and accidentally leaving a giant hole because your team is like too gimmicky and it just all falls apart.
That's a great question. I think for me, the way that I try to contain it by number one, making sure the strategy isn't like I don't want to say like obviously any strategy that you come up with, it can just overcook sometimes. Sometimes it just doesn't come out, doesn't work, and things like that happen. I think what I try to do when I click up a set is I have like 2 or 3 conditions that got to be met. You can't have Pokemon that are like completely dependent on a specific interaction happening. Like, and if you do, you have to be very, very sure that that interaction is going to happen. So, I mean, you gotta make sure they're general use and like capable of doing things that aren't just the gimmick. Like, if you're planning to come out with like a specific set that is like, I will work in like 1 in a billion circumstance, it's probably too too niche. You need to like consider other things. But if you can do your job normally and also like catch the opponent off guard, that's when especially defensive and reactive sets are good. As for like more proactive sets, really it just matters that the proactive set, like Choice Scarf Heatran, for instance, it has to come out and be capable of hitting everything. Like, Eruption in the finals there from Terrifier Heatran it did like what 40% to every single Pokemon on Alex's team, no matter what he swapped into. That's a huge chunk of damage, like, and that's a big, no matter what he does, it's a big play. So, and it's new. So, and then Psych Up versus Coach Josh. It's just like a specific scenario, but it's one that he has so many options to lean into. Like, see so many setup mons that surely one of them I can Psych Up. So that's kind of the idea with when I try something like that.
Awesome. So speaking of Heatran, phenomenal pickup by you. He's been so useful all season. Really, I think showing maybe the more casual fan just how important he is in this playoff run. And I mean, you picked him up as your second round pick, and he's a 15-pointer. A big jump down. Your first pick is 20 points in Chien-Pao, and you jump all the way down to 15 to get Heatran. And to maybe a newer player who, doesn't really understand like these like point tierings and stuff, what did you see in Heatran that you knew, I know he's worth 15, but he's going to be worth this second round pick, and I know he's going to do well on my team?
So it's less the strength of Heatran. Like, Heatran itself is worth 15 points. Especially as the person who tiers this. I can let you know a little secret here is that a lot of Pokemon, especially in this like 16 to 15 or to like 14, 13 range, a lot of them are not there because they're like incredibly powerful. It's now there's some that are there because they're like strong. Annihilate is a good answer to like very strong Pokemon. It's not to say that like Heatran is bad by any means, but this is to say like a lot of them fill very specific niches, and like for instance Heatran, Glamora, Quaquaval, Hisuian Samurott. These are all Pokemon that are like super strong. Well, they're at least like reasonably strong, but you can't replace them. There's no like, I have a backup Heatran in the second, in the third, fourth round. So if I miss the Heatran here, there's no other Heatran to get. There is just Heatran. There's just Glamora. You can get like some really like the fall off from like Glamora to Clodsire is incredible. So all of these like 15-point Pokemon, 15, 16-point Pokemon, they're extremely valuable, more so in the draft because like you can't get another shot at them. So that was my thinking when I took Heatran, is there's no other Heatran. So
definitely. That's awesome. And then looking back on the season, starting all the way from, you draft your team to playing in this finals, was there any point that you feel like you really started to understand your team and you really unlocked their full potential?
I'll be fully honest with you, Justin. I'm sure that I have only scratched the surface of what this team is capable of doing.
Woo!
I think it's extremely strong, and like I can do things with it, but like every time I like go into the builder, I'm like, there's another thing that I see that's like, oh, this could be interesting. I'll tuck that in my back pocket, and then I'll use it at like whenever. And then like halfway through the season, I'm kind of like, okay, we need to take a step back. We need to kind of hold some tech for playoffs. And at that point, you can like you really see some of the mashups, and you're like, man, I could really do something crazy here, but I don't want to spoil myself for later, and so there's some things even this season that I brought that just didn't hit the field, and like you guys have no idea that like I cooked it. So there's still stuff that like you know who knows how good it was. It might have been terrible. Like I don't know. Hopefully, and there's a lot of like nuances with this team, especially with the lower tiers like Ampharos and stuff that I had planned at the beginning. That just we just outclassed with other options, and so there's plenty of things I'm sure I could be doing that would be even better.
All right. Final question for you. Next season, we're switching over to Paldea, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got the Terra tax system in place, which, we're going to explain to everyone who's unfamiliar. That's going to be fun. Let's just say that you have the first pick, right? Who are the Phoenix Forge drafting? Pick one, round one.
Boy, pick one, round one. Well, it really depends on how the how some of the testing goes for this board.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of Pokemon that I'm absolutely sure would be on the board, I have no doubt that I would be selecting Terrazarud. Terrazarud, David had him this season, and I feel like that David did a good job with him, don't get me wrong. I feel like, though, it was such like a scratch the surface of what this thing is capable of, and I think it's actually like giga busted. Like, this is the best Pokemon in the draft by a lot.
Wow.
And I think it outclasses stuff like Chien-Pao. I think it outclasses a lot of stuff. The more that I see of this Pokemon, the more I'm like, yeah, maybe this is a little much. But it's like, we'll see. We'll see. I haven't used it myself, and I'm excited to try it if I get the opportunity to.
Awesome. Well, that's all I have. Congratulations, of course, on your championship. Any last comments you want to share about your championship run?
Honestly, it was pretty easy. You guys are gonna have to work harder for it next season.
Wow, you heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, you're
Step
gonna have
up
to.
our game.
Yeah. Challenge me again next season after I, you
Woo!
run through the gauntlet of speed drafts that I send through you.
Yes, and please sign up for those.
Absolutely.
If you can.
Yeah, and if you have time, please sign up for them. Also, if you need any help with any drafting stuff, obviously, myself and many other coaches that are veterans will more than happy to help you. Yeah. Otherwise,
okay, hold on here. Hold on. All right, I have. This is breaking news that I have right here. The Driftvale Rangers have fired Coach Caden. They are moving on. He is, wow. This is a huge news story. He is separate. He's parting ways from the Driftvale Rangers. Right now, there's talks of him joining a lot of other teams. It seems, though, from my inside sources, Paldea Sports Group might be the top bid. Paldea Sports Group, they have a lot of money, so I guess they could just throw it at anything and see if it works. A very esteemed.
So they got to be doing at this point.
I mean, they're a very esteemed organization. Not for much longer. That's all I'm going to say. So, and that's a huge news story. I'm sure there's going to be a ton more of new teams, trying out new coaches and stuff. So I'm excited to see you. This is just the first of many.
Absolutely. Unbelievable. Well,
crazy. I can't believe he's getting work. Yeah, it's like, Paldea Sports Group, they're hiring Coach Caden. I'm like, what? As a janitor? Or like, what are we? Or no, as their head coach. Crazy, whatever. Anything's possible, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe trying to ruin a new system over there. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I believe that's all we have for this,
I think so.
this season. And yeah, we'll see you again next season. Good luck.
And just quickly, sorry, just really quickly,
Make sure you sign up.
we yes, you should sign up, get people, get friends to sign up,
Anybody's
and
welcome. As long as they
and
show up.
we've been trying a lot of new stuff this season. Ian's been working really hard, so we appreciate him. Caden has been on his grind set this season.
Absolutely.
But I just want to thank you guys for like being so open to all of the new stuff that we're trying. We're gonna iron it down. It's gonna keep getting better and better.
We're gonna
But
make it
yeah,
look
thank you
nice.
guys. Exactly. Yeah, it's gonna look nice. It's gonna feel nice. Pause. But it's but yeah. So keep expecting new stuff over the off season, and we hope you guys interact with it because it's super fun when you guys. We really appreciate the support you guys have been giving us.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll see you next season, and hopefully many more of you.
Yes.
So, yeah, good luck, and signing off for a little while. Bye.
See you guys.